I'm not concerned because that was the plan. When you bring in a new aircraft type, the pace at which you buy the aircraft and the pace at which you train your aircrew aren't necessarily the same thing. And the F-35 is an expensive airplane. It's being bought over a long period of time. So at the very beginning, and unfortunately we are still at the very beginning, what you've got is a situation where you are buying more airplanes than you actually require to deliver the one squadron's worth of capability that you've resourced. So this is about the hours that you've resourced in order to support a full squadron, as opposed to just pumping through pilots willy-nilly. In 2010, I happened to be one of the senior commanders at the time, so I remember this quite painfully. We effectively halved the fast jet air force. Halved, 50% reduction. So therefore, the training requirement was for 50% less. It goes without saying. So all of a sudden, your training machine is only required to train half as many pilots. So you shrink very, very quickly. In 2015, we added a couple of Typhoon squadrons. We had the F-35 force coming online. The problem is the training pipeline, which on a good day is somewhere between 3 and 4 years. If you suddenly try and increase the number going through it, there's no capacity to do that. So what it means is it takes longer. It's as simple as that. And that's what's happened now. We've got a perfect storm where not only are we trying to put more through than the system's capable of absorbing, we've also had problems with the aircraft. That means we can't even put through the number we thought we could put through. It doesn't necessarily impact the front line, which is what everyone has been saying. It could affect the front line if this carries on for much longer, because obviously we will begin to run shorter pilots. What actually happens is you don't replace the pilots on the front line as quickly. So the current pilots will end up staying there longer because there's not a new pilot coming through the system. So it does impact their careers, it does impact the way we have to run the front line force. But in theory, it just means that you've slowed down the process. It doesn't mean people are going out one way and not coming in at the other end. Can you fix it? You can throw money at the problem. You can spend money on a bigger training pipeline, bring in new instructors, bring in more aircraft, and effectively increase your capacity. But you can't do that overnight. Where are those instructors going to come from? Those instructors, by the way, used to come from the front line. Well, the front line is now the problem because you can't feed the front line. If you can't feed the front line, you can't take the instructors off it to go back into the training machine. And quite often that instructional role is not a popular one for a frontline pilot. So you've got a real catch-22 here.